Welcome back, everybody. Colonel Douglas Macgregor is with us. Colonel, I'd like to have you elaborate a little bit more on how the national debt is a serious threat to our national security, more so than Vladimir Putin. I don't think Putin's much of a threat to America at all. But the consensus in D.C. is Putin is far more of a threat than the lack of spending discipline. Your reaction?
Well, if you have been spending recklessly for decades, you'll use whatever you can find to justify its continuation. That's the sad truth right now. That's why it was so important for the so-called Republicans to stand their ground and say, come what may, this is not going to go any further. We're going to stop it. Unfortunately, they let everybody down. I think that the debt has always been threatening because it threatened to reduce the influx of dollars to defense. And that's very true, but it only works, and it's only a threat if the people in charge will behave prudently. And they're not going to behave prudently. They're going to push us over the abyss. I'm afraid that we're going to live in an environment very shortly that is close to 1929, 30, and 31, an environment we helped to create. Right now in St. Petersburg, Russia, there is a plan to bring together 84 countries.
That's right.
All of whom want to adopt gold as the standard for currency. They want to set up a new currency. And Russia, China, and India, who quite frankly at this point control most of the world's gold, are leading the charge, and they're all going to join them because they want to get out from under us. We're bankrupting everybody else. When you spend dollars and you give other people your dollar, you're passing on our debt. They don't want to deal with it anymore.
If 84 countries come to an agreement on gold, and let's just say there's still a lot of steps in the middle, and they say, hey, we no longer want the dollar to be the world reserve currency, guess where those dollars go? They immediately get sent back to the United States. You will have 20 to 30% inflation. Is that correct, Colonel?
Oh, I think so. And you're going to watch everybody dump the U.S. treasuries.
Bingo.
That's the fire sale that we should all be concerned about. When the treasuries are sold off overseas, that's the beginning of the end for our financial domination. And frankly, it probably should end at this point because we've bullied the dickens out of the whole world for years. Do what we say, or we're going to harm you. We're going to sanction you. We've got 35 countries under sanctions right now. It's lunacy.
Colonel, this might be a bridge too far, and feel free to disagree, but today's the first day of Pride Month. And NATO and the military are embracing this, with evangelistic zeal. In fact, part of the mantra as to why NATO says we must defeat Putin is that we in the West embrace outward celebration of LGBTQIA plus values, and Putin does not. Is it fair to say that part of this war in eastern Ukraine is a proxy war over social values?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about that. But let's just remember something that Americans easily forget. The United States military establishment exists for one reason, and that is to kill the enemies of the American people.
Yes.
To defend this country. That's why we have it. It is not there to spread equity, diversity, inclusiveness. It's not there to establish equality all over the world. It's not there to establish democracy, which quite frankly increasingly looks like a joke here at home to other countries.
Why don't we bring some democracy here?
Yeah, of course. Well, good luck.
Not indicting former presidents, for example.
Well, yeah, but look, what are we going to do in future elections when everybody's filling out a ballot 16 times over and stuffing it into boxes? I mean, how do you have free and fair elections when there's no election integrity? This is the big issue. So all the focus overseas diverts us, obviously. But there's one other aspect to this thing. There are people in Eastern Europe, like the Poles, for instance, who are very interested in leveraging our power to fight their old enemy, Russia. The question I have is, why should we be interested?
Bingo.
Russia presents no threat to us. Russia is a Russian Orthodox Christian country with a national identity and history. Has nothing to do with why we should be there right now.
Colonel Douglas Macgregor with an incredibly clear and powerful analysis. I wish we had more time. By the way, there's a clip I wish we could play. Senator Graham is saying that he's upset that this bill does not include more money for Zelensky. You can't make this stuff up. Colonel, we're out of time. Thank you so much. Very, very powerful interview. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.